The Legend of Spud Murphy. Chapter 2. Stay on the Carpet. Of course, the little brothers thought this was hilarious. "Nice knowing you," said Donnie, shaking my hand. "Yeth," said HP, the word whistling through the gap where his front teeth used to be. "Nice knowing you." 5 years old and already a smart aleck. "Can I have your Walkman?" asked Bert, who was already wearing it. I swatted them with my Action Man. "Do you hear them, Mum? They're teasing us already." "Oh, they don't mean it," said Mum. "Do you, my little men?" "No, Mummy." Mum gave them a jelly baby each. I thought my head would pop with the unfairness of it all. "Now, Marty and Will, go upstairs and wash off the rest of my lipstick. We leave in 10 minutes. There was no escape. We pleaded and whinged for 10 minutes solid, but Mum was not giving an inch. "The library will be good for you," she said, belting us tightly into the back seats of the car. "You might even learn something." As we drove away, we looked back towards the house. Donnie was at the bedroom window, enacting a little play for our benefit. He'd scrawled the name Spud across the front of his white t-shirt, and was scolding a small figure standing on the window ledge. My heart jumped. It was Action Man. Donnie's scolding grew more and more furious until eventually he picked up my unfortunate toy by the heels and began whacking him against the ledge. "No!" I squealed. "Stop the car! Donnie is killing Action Man!" Mum laughed. "Oh, really, Will? Killing Action Man? You'll have to come up with something better than that." Through the window, I could see Bert and HP clapping wildly as Donnie took a bow. Mum dropped us at the library on our way downtown. "I'll pick you up on my way home, after I collect your dad from work." We nodded, both too scared to talk. Mum pointed her fingers at us like two imaginary guns. "Try not to get spudded, okay?" She was joking, but we couldn't laugh. We couldn't even manage a smile. Mum would be sorry when she came back and her face had been blasted by soggy potatoes. "Right, off you go, up the steps. I'll just stay here to make sure you go inside." I growled quietly. Our plan had been to hide around the back for a few hours. Mum was smarter than we thought. We climbed the concrete steps to the library doors. I decided to go first because Marty told me to. You're probably wondering what we were so scared about. I bet you're thinking that we were a pair of gutless chickens who would have been better off at home sewing our names onto handkerchiefs. But that's because you think libraries are happy, colourful places where the librarians actually like children. That may be what most of them are like, but this one was different. It was a place where serious men read serious books, and nobody was allowed to show even a glimmer of a smile. A smile could get you thrown out. A titter could get you spudded. And if you laughed aloud, you were never seen again. A little boy rushed out of the library, straight into Marty. The boy had tears coming out of his eyes, and someone had obviously been dragging him along by the scarf. He grabbed Marty's jumper. "Don't go in there," he cried. "For the love of God, don't do it. I was 1 day late with 5 go to Smuggler's Top. Just 1 day. And look what she did to me." And just like that, the boy was gone, trailing a wrinkled scarf behind him, with only a puddle of tears to prove that he'd ever been there. "Wait," we cried after the fleeing figure. "Tell us what Spud did to you." But it was no use. The boy had disappeared into the back of a dark car and sped off to safety. There was a porch outside the library. The porch's walls were covered with posters about things like book groups and art competitions, all very educational. We looked at the pictures on the posters anyway. Anything to put off going into the library itself and facing Spud Murphy. We stayed there until Mum came up the steps and knocked on the window. We had no choice but to go inside. It was just as I feared. There was nothing in there but books. Books just waiting to jump off the shelves and bore me silly. They seemed to watch me from their perches. I imagine them elbowing each other. "Look," they said, "two more kids having too much fun. We'll soon put a stop to that." The library seemed to go on forever. Row after row of wooden bookshelves, bolted to the floor at the bottom and the ceiling at the top. Each row had a ladder, with wheels on the upper end. Those ladders would have been great rides, but there was a zero chance of children ever being allowed to actually have fun in here. "What do you want?" said a voice from the other side of the library. My heart speeded up at the very sound of that voice. It was like two pieces of rusted metal being rubbed together. I held my breath and looked across the huge room. An elderly woman was leaning on a massive wooden desk, her knuckles bigger than acorns. Her grey hair was tied back so tightly that her eyebrows were halfway up her forehead. She looked surprised and angry at the same time. It was Spud Murphy, without a doubt. "I said, what do you want?" she repeated, banging on the desk with an ink stamp. We walked across to her desk, clinging to each other like two frightened monkeys. There was a whole box full of ink stamps on the desk, and two more hooked into her belt like 6-shooters. Spud Murphy glared down from her great height. She was big, taller than my dad and wider than my mum and my two aunties strapped together. Her arms were skinny like a robot's, and her eyes were like two black beetles behind her glasses. "Mum says we have to join the library," I said, a full sentence. Not bad under the circumstances. "That's all I need," grumbled Spud. "Two more urchins messing up my shelves." She took a pen and 2 cards from her drawer. "Name?" "Mrs. Murphy," I stammered. Spud sighed. "Not my name, dummy. Your names." "William and Martin Woodman," I shouted, like an army cadet. We had surrendered our names, and our address was next. I was a bit worried about that. Now Spud knew where we lived, and could track us down if we ever forgot to return a book. The librarian filled in the cards, stamping him with the library crest. "Pink cards," she said, handing them to us. "Pink means junior. Pink means you stay in the junior section of the library." Marty noticed that the toilets were in the grown-up section. What if we have to go?" Spud threw the stamp back in the box, slamming the lid. "Think ahead," she said. "Go before you get here." Spud led us down the long aisles of wooden flooring to the children's section. She wore woolly slippers on her feet that polished the planks as she glided. "That," she said, pointing knobbly finger, "is the children's section." The section was actually a single box shelf with 4 rows of books. On the ground before it was a small patch of worn carpet. "Do not set foot off that carpet until you leave," she warned. "Whatever boyish ideas enter your head, ignore it. Stay on the carpet, or there will be trouble." She bent over almost double until her beetle eyes were level with my own. "Is that understood?" I nodded. It was understood. No doubt about it. That was The Legend of Spud Murphy, Chapter 2.